A while back, a follower emailed me a picture of a granny square heart, and they asked me if I could put a square shape around it so they could join them together to make something. Now, it took me a second, but I was able to accomplish it, and there is the granny heart square. Oh, I'm so excited, it's so cute. So I was able to keep the heart shape intact, which I'm very excited about, while still putting a square shape around it. It was important to me that when I made the square shape around the heart, that I didn't cover up the heart or camouflage the heart with other stitches, making that square shape. And I think I was able to accomplish that pretty well. I made a bunch of these squares and then I joined them together to make a blanket, which I can't wait to display. All right, Crochet by the Numbers. Each one of these squares took me between 13 and 15 minutes to make. There's 21.5 yards of yarn per square, and I used Caron Simply Soft yarn to make my blanket, and each skein of that is $4.99 full price. I recommend that you wait for a coupon or a sale to get it way cheaper, and then you'll need a skein per color because they're all mostly solids. Some of them are stripes, but I have 4 different colors here: red, purple, pink, and cream. So I would have needed 4 skeins of yarn to make this blanket. All right, all of the materials that I used and the pattern are going to be located in the description section below, along with links. Once you have everything you need to make this blanket, let's go ahead and get started. We will actually begin with the heart shape, starting with either the magic ring or the chain 2 method, because we're going to start by working in rounds. I'm going to go ahead and do the magic ring. There we go. Now chain a total of 3. So that was chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. This first chain 3 counts as our first double crochet stitch. Make 2 more double crochet stitches inside the ring or inside the very first chain of your chain 2. There we go. Now make 2 chains. 1, 2, 3 more double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. 1, 2, 3 more double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2. So now I have 3 sides. I need to make 1 more side. So 3 more double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now to close this round, whether you're working the magic ring or the chain 2 method, we're going to go ahead and make our last corner. Our last corner, we're going to chain 1 and then make a half double crochet stitch in the 3rd chain of our first chain 3. So half double crochet. Now why would we do that? Well, if you make a half double crochet stitch instead of just a chain 2 and slip stitch, then look, your stitch actually begins in the very center of your corner. If you did a chain 2 and slip stitched, then you would be beginning your next row already into the middle of or the center of the next round. To avoid that obnoxious line that can appear by joining, if we do the half double crochet, then we hide that join in the corner. Pretty cool trick. All right, round 2, we're going to start by chaining 3. This chain 3 also counts as our first double crochet stitch. Make a double crochet in that same first corner. Make 1 double crochet stitch on top of the next 3 stitches. So double crochet 1, double crochet 2, and double crochet 3. Great. When you reach the corner chain 2 section, we're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Here we go. Double crochet 1, double crochet 2, chain 2, double crochet 1, double crochet 2, and it'll look just like that. Great, now repeat all the way around, and I'll meet you in corner number 4 to show you how to close corner number 4. Last corner, corner number 4, we will make 2 double crochet stitches, 1 and 2. Now we already have 2 double crochet stitches from when we began round 2, so the only thing we need to do is the corner, going to make 1 chain and then half double crochet in the 3rd chain of that very first chain 3 to close round 2. Boom, there we go. And that's what we should be looking at the end of round 2. Perfect, basic granny square basically right there, pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to round 3. Round 3, we're just making the humps of the heart. So we're going to start by counting 3 stitches. So counting, there's 1, there's 2, and 3. In the 4th stitch, we are going to make 6 treble crochet stitches. So don't bother chaining, nothing. We're just going to go ahead and start by yarning over 2 times. So there's 3 loops on our hook, inserting our crochet hook into the 4th stitch, then yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 1 treble, make 5 more. 2, 3, 6, slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. There we go. And repeat what we just did on this side. So skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. In the 4th stitch, make 6 treble crochet stitches. And 6. Great. Slip stitch into the next chain 2 corner. Oh, isn't that cute? And there you have a granny square heart shape, which is just adorable. You could stop here if you wanted to, but we want to make this a full square so we can do something with it. So let's go ahead and move on to round 4. Round 4, we will start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. That chain 3 does count as our first double crochet stitch. Go ahead and double crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 7. When you reach the corner chain 2, we will make 4 double crochet stitches in that corner. 4, great. And then continue making 1 double crochet stitch in the next 7 stitches. 7, great. Now that we've finished that, we're going to start working around the humps. In the corner space right here, that's right next to the 7th stitch that we just made, make 2 double crochet stitches in this space. 1, 2. Make 1 double crochet stitch on top of the first treble crochet stitch. Double crochet. Between the first and second treble crochet stitch, make 2 double crochet stitches. 1 and 2. In the second treble crochet stitch, make 1 double crochet. So you might have to scoot your double crochets over so you can see it, but just 1 double crochet on top. Between the second and third treble, make 2 double crochet stitches. 1, 2. On top of the third treble crochet, make 1 double crochet. 1. Between the third and fourth treble crochet, make 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Double crochet on top of the fourth treble crochet stitch. Great. Now when you get between the fourth and the fifth treble crochet, between those, we are going to make 2 half double crochet stitches. We need to start coming in or tapering into the center part of the heart here. So half double crochet 1 and half double crochet 2. On top of the fifth treble crochet stitch, single crochet. Single crochet. Between the fifth and sixth treble crochet stitch, right between, make a single crochet and, oopsie, and a slip stitch right in between. On top of the sixth treble crochet stitch, slip stitch. Great. Now right between, see the corner of our granny square here in the middle, there's a slip stitch here. This is where we closed this first hump. Just go ahead and slip stitch on top of that slip stitch. Slip stitch on top of the first treble crochet stitch of the next hump. Slip stitch. Between the first and the second treble, we're going to slip stitch. And then single crochet, so basically mirroring what we did on this side. Single crochet on top of the second treble crochet. Between the second and the third treble crochet, make 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Double crochet on top of the third treble stitch. 1. Between the third and the fourth treble crochet stitches, make 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Double crochet on top of the fourth treble. 2 double crochets between the fourth and the fifth. 1, 2. 1 double crochet on top of the fifth. 2 double crochets between the fifth and the sixth. 1, 2. 1 double crochet on top of the sixth. Great. And then make 1 more double crochet in the same corner stitch where we started the first chain 3. So I'm going to yarn over, come to that corner. There we go. So then it looks like in that corner we have 2 double crochet stitches to mirror the other side. And there, oh, let's go ahead and close it. Slip stitch into the third chain to close round 4. There you go. Look at that cute heart. Oh my goodness. Okay, now it's time for us to make the actual box shape around the heart, starting with round 5. Go ahead and chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. We're going to go ahead and single crochet in the next 9 stitches. Where this puts us is in that corner 4 double crochet stitches that we put at the bottom of the heart. We made 1 single crochet on the first double, 1 single crochet on the second double, but we haven't touched the third and the fourth double crochet stitch yet. Between the second double crochet and the third double crochet, I want you to insert your crochet hook between them. Make a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. This will give us a nice sharp point here, which will make a beautiful bottom to the heart. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to go ahead and single crochet in the next 10 stitches. Do not forget that we haven't made anything inside of this third double crochet stitch yet, so scoot over that single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, so that way we can single crochet on top of that third double crochet stitch. So there's 1, 2, and 10. Awesome. So cool. Okay, now let's go ahead and chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15. Perfect. Skip 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. In the 10th stitch, we're going to single crochet. There we go. And what this will do is it'll continue this up straight and give us a nice little corner, just like that. Pretty neat, right? Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Great. Wait, I'm going to go ahead. I went around the stitch. I really want to go in that stitch. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 17. 1, 2, 3, 16, and 17. Great. Skip 11 stitches. Now here I want to show you what I'm counting. So the next stitch over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6 is going to be the slip stitch on top of the corner slip stitch. So that's number 6 for me. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Skipping 11, single crochet in the 12th stitch. Remember to count those V stitches. Really just look for those V's. It'll help you a lot because we got some slip stitches in here and some stuff that might be a little hard to count. So as long as you look for that V on the top, it'll help you a lot. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches for a total of 3 single crochets. Boom. There we go. Pretty cool, right? Now we're going to chain another 15 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 15, and slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch that we made for round 5. There we go. Closing off round 5. Awesome. Great. Now we have our 4 corners. Looks a little funky at the moment. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit more bold and defined with round 6, which is the last round. Chain 1 and now single crochet in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. Single crochet in the next 10 stitches. 1, 10. That should bring you right to the corner chain 2. In that corner chain 2, we will single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. This is a great way to add a sharper point to your corner. If you're looking for something much sharper, just do the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now we're on the other side. Make 1 single crochet in the next 11 stitches. 10, 11, perfect. Now we're going to work into the chains. I did try a demo where I worked around the chains and it was a bit sloppy. I found that for the best crisp definition and to keep everything exactly where I want it to be, working inside the chain was the best. So I highly recommend, but you do what you want. Go ahead and single crochet into the very first 7 chains. So I got this guy right here. 1, 2. When I work into my chains, I have 2 loops on the top, 1 loop on the bottom, but go ahead and feel free to work in your chains, whatever you're comfortable doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th chain is our corner. So in the 8th chain, we're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Great. And single crochet in the last 7 chains. And 7. Make 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Next section is bigger. We're actually going to single crochet in the first 8 chains, then do a corner, and then single crochet in the last 8 chains. 8, corner, and 8. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Great. The last section here, we're going to single crochet in the first 7 chains, corner, and then single crochet in the last 7 chains. 6 and 7. Closing round 6, we will slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch we made. Great. Grabbing our scissors. I'll lay this flat real quick. So scissors. Cutting a long enough tail for us to weave in our ends. Tie off our work. Boom. Now all you're going to need to do is weave in your ends, and then your square is finished being made. The second thing I would recommend highly is that you block these sections. And let me show you first how I will weave in my ends. I take my needle, and I actually will begin by making my yarn needle go from the back to the front, really close to where that knot is. And it helps to, I can pull that knot into the work, and it makes this section flat. Then bring it back to the back, because I like to weave in my ends in the back or the wrong side of the work to hide them a little bit better from the front. So I'll go under and through some strands to get the fibers to cling to each other for a better hold. And then the trick that seemed to work the best for me to weave in my ends is then doubling backwards. So going over the stitch I last went under, so I don't just undo everything I just did. And then I will go under and through stitches going backwards. Might even go through some of the same exact stitch or chain or yarn that I'm threading. Makes it more secured. Great. Release and cut flush. There we go. Okay, so when you first finish your work, it looks really kind of funky. It's not crisp. I wanted to have these big whole sections available so that way you could really see the heart. I wanted the heart to pop. I didn't want to hide it in any way by having a bunch of connecting pieces. So if you can now take this square, this section, and block it, then it'll come out looking a little more shapely, like that. And all the definition inside of the square is really beautifully crisp, and it just, all the detail really shows up if you block the section. If you choose not to block the section, it's not the end of the world, but I still think you get to see a lot more of the definition if you do, and it'll be a lot easier for us to join the squares together if they are blocked. Each square will measure 5 inches wide by 5 inches long. So depending on the size blanket that you want to make, all you have to do to figure out how many squares you need to make is take the size of the blanket and find out how many of these sections will fit lengthwise or widthwise and lengthwise. I do have a whole video on how to figure out how many squares you need to make for your blanket, and I'll put that link in the description section below for you to check out so you know exactly how many of these squares you need to make whatever blanket size that you desire. Right? The next step is to join these sections together. In this particular pattern, I used the whip stitch To do this process, if you are unfamiliar, take the yarn color of one of the squares. That way it camouflages in and it makes sense. So I'm going to take this pink. I'm going to use at least enough yarn to go one direction and double back. Taking my yarn needle, threading it. First and most important thing is look at your heart and see if it is in the direction or the shape that you want. Maybe you want all the hearts to kind of come together like that, which would be super cute, or whatever you want to do. I kind of want them all to be facing the same direction, like that. So that's the first step. Second is we're going to come to the two corners that touch. Each of our corners should have a chain 2 in them. That's how this pattern was designed on purpose. You're going to come to one of the sides, doesn't matter which, on one square, start from the bottom and go through the top, right underneath the chain 2. And in the adjacent or matching square, we're going to go from the top to the bottom. There we go. Next, I'm going to tie a little knot so that way this yarn doesn't slip away from me. There we go. Perfect. Now, the whip stitch is super easy, especially since we have the same number of stitches on one side of this square as we do the other. So we're literally just going to come to the square, come to the next stitch over, go from the bottom to the top, and then come to the next square and next stitch available and the top to the bottom. Next stitch over, bottom to top, next stitch over, top to bottom. Next stitch over, bottom to top, over, next stitch over, top to bottom. And what this does with the whip stitch is it leaves I liked this rough kind of look with it because it brings me kind of like that Trolls vibe where it looks very crafty having this kind of look to it. So that is strategic. Feel free to use whatever join method that you want to use to join your squares, but I thought this one would be super cute. Make it look kind of like scrapbooky. Coming to the end of this join, at the very next corner, the chain 2 space, let's go ahead and tie off this color, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Oh look, I literally came to just enough. I lucked out there. I'm actually going to come to the back so I can secure this, tie the knot in the back. Okay, I'm going to wrap it around my thumb, come back into the stitch and through, pull the yarn needle through that stitch, holding the yarn back with my thumb, so keeping a little loop back. Taking that, I'm going to twist it. Give it that X right there. Take my yarn needle, go into that hole on the other side of the X, and pull for a slip knot. Then that will be ready. You can either weave this end in now or wait till the end. To join new squares to your join, I wanted to make sure that I showed how to do this. I want to change colors here because I don't want to carry the pink color that I started with here into joining the white or the cream and the red, because that pink will just stick out like a sore thumb and it will not complement unless you're doing it in such a way that will. In the same corner that I tied off my work, I'm going to start by taking my yarn needle from the bottom to the top, pull that through, leave enough room for me to weave in that end. Next corner, top to bottom. There we go. That way I can tie a knot here. Now that my yarn is secure to these two, I'm going to start with the corner. Again, How do I want my hearts? Make sure your heart's always checked. That's going to be a huge bummer if you join and you're like, oh no. Like, make sure you check that your hearts are exactly how you want them to look. Then come to the chain 2 corner from the bottom to the top. And come over to the other side, corner chain 2, top to the bottom. Perfect. And then just to make sure all 4 corners are attached, I'm going to now go from the bottom to the top of the next touching square, the chain 2 corner. Great, I want that little tail to hide away. And then come back down into the next chain 2 section of the following square. I did just kind of do a whole figure 4 in a way. I went all the way around so that way my squares are together completely. And then we will continue joining how we did before. Find the next stitch up, go from the bottom to the top, the next stitch, top to the bottom. And that's it. So go ahead and finish joining however many squares you want in one direction. And then we will come back and I will show you how to join crossing so that way you are fully capable and comfortable with the join. Now that we have joined this section right here, I'm ready to start joining the cross section. Begin exactly the same way we did every other square to begin our join. Picking a color that is the exact same as one of the squares. Great. And now whip stitch up to that middle join, and I will meet you here to show you how I get over it to continue joining on. Because all of our squares are such incredibly different colors, we don't have a matching border going around them, I'm going to actually take this color, this join, all the way to the very tip corner and then tie it off. Bring it over to the back of the work, the wrong side of the work. Again, take your thumb, wrap the yarn around your thumb, bring your yarn needle back into the stitch, so that way you're holding back a loop. Take that loop, cross it, or just twist it, take your yarn needle underneath the loop for a tie-off slip knot. There we go. And like I have mentioned before, you can either weave in your end now or just cut a long enough tail and you're done with that color. Now let's move on to the next 2 colors, starting at this corner. Make sure we get that tail tucked in. So starting from the bottom to the top of one corner, oop, hold back a tail, over to the other corner from the top to the bottom. So that way we can tie a knot here and the yarn won't slip through the stitches as we are joining these 2 squares together. Great. And easy as that, now we can just continue to work our way up. That is how we're going to join this entire blanket together. Once you've joined all of your squares together and before you have woven in any of your tails, let's go ahead and add the border. I like to add the border before weaving in the ends because there's been a couple times where I've woven in the ends and then when I went to add the border, it was actually hard to work in the stitches. So let's go ahead and just wait on that. And I'm using a very, very simple single crochet stitch border to go around this blanket because I just want to frame it. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the upper corner. And that just attaches the yarn to the project. Then we will chain 1 and single crochet into that same corner space. Make 1 single crochet stitch in every single stitch space. And then I'm going to show you how to work past the join so that way you feel very confident in what you're doing. When you reach the next corner, go ahead and make one single crochet in the corner stitch. I'm going to have you make one single crochet into the join and then one single crochet into the next corner stitch. And keep on going. Great, just continue to repeat this all the way across, and I will meet you in the very first corner to show you how to work the corners. And then I think you will be good to go. All right, corner number 1. In that chain 2 space, we are just going to insert our crochet hook, do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, just like we did in the individual squares. That's it. You're just going to make one single crochet in each stitch all the way down or all the way across every single side. Make sure to put a stitch in between the squares in that joining space. That way you have enough space in your stitches for everything to lay flat. That is the goal. If your blanket is starting to scrunch up, you need to add more stitches. If it's starting to do this big wave thing, you have too many stitches. So feel free to just lay it down periodically to make sure everything is laying flat the way you want it. Now you know how to work between the squares, you know how to work the corners. Continue around and I will meet you back in corner number 4 to show you how to close this round and move on to the second round. Here we are approaching corner number 4. Once you reach corner number 4, you will make one single crochet stitch, chain 1, and then half double crochet into the top of the first single crochet stitch we made for the round. I really love this little trick because it keeps the join invisible in the corner and you don't have this very obvious protruding join that sticks out along the edge. Great, we have just finished round 1. Now I only put 2 rounds for my border because I kept it very simple, really letting everything inside the blanket shine, but feel free to make as many rounds as you want before you close off your project. You're going to begin every single round for your border by chaining 1, single crocheting into that corner stitch space, and then making one single crochet stitch in every single stitch all the way around. In every single corner space, in that chain 2, you will single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in all 4 corners, except for the 4th corner here, where you will just single crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet to close the round each and every time. When you are finally done making your border, you'll make your last stitch. Perfect. You will grab your scissors, cut a long enough tail for you to weave in your ends. Then yarn over that tail, pull it all the way through the loop on your crochet hook, and tie that slip knot, and that ties off your work. And then the only thing you have left to do is weave in your ends. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this second round for my border, and then I'll meet up with you to show you what the finished project looks like. I actually had a lot of fun making these granny heart squares. I hope you give it a try. Play with colors, play with textures, maybe even play with different things you can make them into. Oh my gosh, it'll be so much fun. Thank you so much for watching this video, hanging out with me today, and crocheting with me. I think that is awesome. I hope you have the best day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.